Hello, welcome to more yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today I thought we would do some twists from different positions because I think they feel good. When I was first taught my yoga teacher training about twisting and stuff like that, um, one of the rationales behind it was that this sort of cross-body motion helped link left brain and right brain together and then helps your balance. But since then, left brain and right brain stuff has been largely debunked. So let's just twist because we like twisting. Um, as always, I'm going to give you options for more open variations of twist or more closed or deeper variations of twisting. If you're pregnant, don't twist too deep. I mean, you won't be able to anyway, because there'll be a baby in the way. Um, or if it's painful for whatever reason, then back out of the twists. One little trick with twisting, especially if you feel like maybe I want to try and get into a deeper twist today, is to take the take the breath out of the belly, right? These sort of deep belly breaths, and then in fact draw in, hold the belly in, and then breathe in the upper chest so that you're able to get a little bit more space to ring out. And it's not a breath that we usually advise, but it's just a cool little trick for getting into deeper twists. Enough of that. Let's start lying down. If you're comfortable there, yeah, if you'd prefer to stay seated, you're welcome to. I always recommend something soft for kneeling. So if you have a pillow or something like that, it could be good. All right. And then once you're down on your back, maybe draw your knees toward your chest. You can take a little rock from side to side or shake out the legs a little bit. Do whatever you need to do so that you can find eventually a bit of stillness here. Your legs might be extended on the mat, they might be bent like mine, in which case maybe take your feet mat width apart so that the knees can hang in toward each other. Take a little loop of the shoulders onto your back. And then I like palms up just because it opens through my chest a little bit more. If you want to have your hands on your belly, that's a really kind of cozy way to rest too. And then for a few breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. Notice how your breath is flowing. If it feels really open and spacious, then acknowledge that. Excuse me. If, like me, you notice some sticky or choppy spots along the way, you might gently try to lengthen through those parts of the breath, just to smooth it out a little bit more. Notice where you're breathing in your body, whether you're taking belly breaths or maybe the breath is up a bit higher. If you'd like to practice that slightly higher breath with the belly drawn in, you're welcome to. The last couple moments here. And then slowly start to bring a little bit of movement back to your body, whatever way feels best for you to wake up. A little wiggle of the fingertips or toes, a little rock of the head from side to side, or maybe take a big little overhead morning stretch. Maybe take a big yawn. And then draw your knees in toward you. They don't have to be deeply compressed into the belly. You might take a little rock from side to side if you wish. You could draw circles with your thighs here and the hip sockets, whatever feels best for you. Right? Just getting out any tightness or little niggles or kinks that might be in the body. And then come back to center. Start to hug the legs toward each other. So there might be space along the thighs, but you're still drawing the legs toward each other. Maybe the feet touch or the legs touch. And then we're going to do some twisting here on the back, but this will be made easier the closer the knees are towards you. The further away they are, and maybe you even end up in a sort of a Pilates tabletop position, the more difficult it will be. I want you to think of really pressing the low back into the floor here as we move as much as possible. When you're twisting, sometimes it lifts away, and that's fine. And then reach your arms up to the sky. So on your inhale, bring your knees to the right and the arms reach to the left, and then exhale back to center. And then opposite direction, knees to the left, arms to the right. So again, you can make this easier by having your knees closer to you. You can make it harder by having them further apart. Maybe you extend your legs and just really, not necessarily easy, but gentle waking up of the core. So you don't need to force yourself to go super far. Try to keep the shoulder blades rooted as you twist. Last couple breaths here. Of course, I'm doing this right after I had breakfast, so feeling slightly uncomfortable on the belly. Shake out your legs a little bit and release. Okay, some of you are going to want to grab the backs of the thighs, and you can start rocking and rolling up and down your spine a little bit here. Maybe you play with it, right? Finding the balance and then the tipping point and back and forth. If that doesn't feel good for you, then roll to one side, press yourself up, and let's all meet on hands and knees. So eventually setting up here with knees underneath hips, toes can be tucked or untucked, and hands outer shoulder width apart or wider. Little draw of belly button to spine. Make sure the outer edge of the shoulder is in line with the middle of your wrist. And let's move through some cat and cow. So inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through the lower back, broaden through the collarbones. Exhale, round. Really press the floor away. Inhale, lift the tailbone. Exhale, tuck the tailbone under. So a few more of these undulations on your own time, on your own breath. Maybe add a little wiggle here. Whatever you need to do. Again, just getting into some of those parts of the body that need a little bit of a release, a little bit more space. And then slowly come back to center. Plant your hands, or rather your left hands down. As you inhale, pick the right arm out to the side. Maybe open it all the way up to the sky. Exhale, thread underneath the left. So here we go, twisting a little bit more. Inhale, up and open. Exhale, thread. One more time. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, thread down. And then here, maybe depending on how far away the floor feels today, you might bring a block or a pillow behind the back of the shoulder or the side of the head. I'm going to use one under my head because the floor is pretty hard. And then get a little bit exploratory, a little bit curious about what you want to do with this left hand. You could bring the heel of the hand into the crease of the right wrist. to get a little bit more traction along that right arm. Sometimes it feels good to walk the fingertips up to the top of the mat, or maybe over to the right. Sometimes it feels good to drape the top arm behind you, or maybe you're just pressing it into the floor a little bit more. So a couple more breaths here. Getting this lovely twist in child's pose. And then bring your left hand back to the floor. Press into it. Inhale. Back up and open, and then come down. Hands and knees. Little wiggle or shake to release anything that might have got a little bit sticky there. And then plant the right hand. Inhale the left arm out to the side, maybe up to the sky. Exhale, thread onto the right. And then press back up. Inhale, open. Exhale, thread. One more time. And then here, start to snuggle down to the floor a little bit more. Bring the back of the shoulder down, maybe the side of the head. And again, get curious. Just go where you need to go with that right hand. And it could be totally different from one side to the other. And last two breaths here. And then bring your right hand back to the floor. Press the palm. Inhale. Back up. Maybe open. And shake it all out. A little wiggle or release. And then come back to center. Make sure your hands are nice and wide. Tuck your toes. Exhale, lift the hips all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. So here, pedal the heels out a little bit if you wish. You could wag your tail from side to side. Anything you feel like you need. And then look at your hands. Make sure they're nice and wide. Fingertips spread really wide. And can you think of sending the weight more into the fingertips and out of the heels of the hands? Obviously, there's still weight in the heels of the hands, but you don't want to just be dumping into those wrists. Take your feet a little bit wider, maybe mat width apart. Maybe you shorten your stance a little bit here. Okay, nice and strong through the arms. Inhale, pick the right arm up. Exhale, twist under the left. So you might bring the hand to the floor, you might bring the hand to the thigh or the calf or the ankle. Really drive through the floor with that left hand. Lift the hips a little bit higher and then come back to center. Shake it out if you want to in between. And then concentrate on driving that right hand into the earth. Pick up the left arm. Exhale, twist to the right. Anywhere the arm can go. One more breath here. And then inhale, back to center. Return to your normal downward facing dog stance. Bend your knees, look forward, and then gently make your way to the top edge of your mat into a standing forward fold. Maybe you rest your elbows on your knees or your thighs. Maybe you decide to bring blocks or a coffee table or something like that underneath your hands today. You could clasp opposite elbows with hands to get that little bit more release through the spine. And make sure the head is hanging heavy. So nod your head yes, shake your head no, and let go of any tension in the back of the neck. So head heavy, neck long. A few more breaths here. You might be still, you might be moving a little bit. Make sure there's at least a micro bend in the knees though. And then gently release your hands with fingertips to your shins or the earth. Inhale, a little partway lift, belly button to spine. Exhale, let it all go. Couple more. And then bend your knees, head heavy, arms heavy, slowly start to roll up to standing. One vertebra at a time, slow as you need to go, until eventually you come all the way up. A couple loops of the shoulders up, back and down. A little shake out, wiggle, release, whatever you need to release. And then check out with the feet. Make sure they're hip width-ish apart, parallel-ish. Right? We all have different attachments and spirals in the bones, so sometimes parallel for someone is slightly turned out. Sometimes it's slightly turned in. Doesn't really matter. And then hug the legs toward each other, tailbone to the earth slightly, just to feel the belly button engage toward your spine and shoulder blades on your back. Inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Grab hold of your right wrist with your left hand, lift a little bit taller. Exhale over to the left, send the hips to the right. So rather than just reaching all the way over with the weight on that left foot, think of sending the weight more to the right foot. And you might even come up onto the toes on the left foot. Maybe that leg naturally de-weights. So getting a long, long stretch through the side body. And then inhale, come back to center, shake out the arms, and then switch the grip. Grab hold of the left wrist with the right hand, lift a little bit taller. Exhale over to the right, hips to the left, right. So really send your weight into that left foot. For me, I find that a lot easier than trying to go really far over to the side. And I feel like that kind of crunches the one side. And then inhale back to center. Shake it all out. Sweep the arms up to the sky. Exhale, release, forward fold. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your right leg back, and then gently release your back knee to the floor. If you have padding, then you might want to use padding under that back knee. Chip foam block or double up your mat. And then inhale, come up to half kneeling. So back out of the hips. Shake it out. Release anything that you need to release. Fix your clothes and then hug the legs toward each other. Squeeze the bum on the back leg, belly bend to spine, shoulder blades on your back, maintaining all that, then shift the hips forward. So you're getting hopefully a nice release into the hip flexors on that back leg. Really squeeze the bum on that right side. And then if this front knee is kind of wobbling around, think of driving the front heel into the floor a little bit more. I really like having my back toes untucked here rather than tucked. I just like how that feels. So you can play with it. Okay. Inhale the arms up to the sky. Chill out on the shrug muscles. As you exhale, start to twist to the left. Inhale, back up. Exhale, same twist. Twist to the left. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist. This time, pause. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bring the back hand to the sacrum or low back. Right hand can come to the front knee. And think of pressing hand or knee into hand. Pull back on the knee with your hand. Maybe you sink a little bit deeper, nothing too crazy. Keep squeezing the bum on the back leg. Maybe you're here. Last breath. Inhale back up and exhale, shift your hips back as we extend through the front leg for half splits. Hands could be on hips. You might have a wall that you could grab onto. Maybe your fingertips are on the floor. If you have blocks, then you could use blocks. Really think of wrapping the right hip forward as you draw the left hip back. But you can even hook your thumb into that hip crease and think of pulling the leg back. Make sure there's a micro bend in the front knee, right? You might not see it, but at least you feel it. So you're not jamming the knee open. And then flare the toes on the front foot. Peel them back toward your face even more. So keeping this nice long line today rather than folding forward. All right, so you've got this sort of angular hinge shape. Okay, this is going to get wobbly. This is going to get twisty. So really make sure there's a little micro bend in the front knee here. Maybe you bring a block inside, or maybe you stack them. Maybe you have the wall for a little bit of balance. But inhale here. As you exhale, twist to the left again. Keep wrapping that left hip back. So maybe you have a block for balance on that inside part of the leg. Maybe the hands do weight. One more breath here. And then slowly, inhale, back to center. Ripple forward, and then step to the top edge of your mat. Standing forward fold again. Little bounce, little wiggle or sway, whatever you need. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your left leg back and release your knee to the floor or the chip foam block or whatever you happen to be using. And then inhale, come up to half kneeling. So again, back out of the hips. And then let's get all those activations going. Squeeze the bum on the back leg, belly button to spine, shoulder blades on your back. Hug the legs toward each other a little bit. And then sink into that front knee. Squeeze the bum on that back leg like crazy. You might just gently rest your palms on the front thigh for a couple breaths. Maybe you play with back toes untucked or tucked. Maybe you like it different from one side to the other. Ground through the front heel. Gently float the arms up to the sky. Chill out on those shrug muscles. Inhale here. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back up. Same twist. Exhale, twist to the right. Left arm comes forward. Inhale, back up. Last time, squeeze that back, the bum on the back leg. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bring one hand to the sacrum, one hand to the knee. Pull on the knee with the hand, but really press the knee into the hand. So you're getting really nice activation here. Nice open twist. Last breath. And then inhale back to center. Exhale, shift your hips back as you extend through that front leg. Wrap the left hip forward, draw the right hip back. Again, you can bring that thumb into the hip crease for that little bit of extra feedback. Try to keep the back nice and long. Now, depending on where your hands go, there might be a bit of rounding, but just imagine at least a little length in the low back. Peel the front toes back toward you a little bit more. And if you're holding onto a wall, that's great. Hands on hips. Really great, especially for the upper back. Last breath here. Okay, maybe you start to bring one or two blocks or a coffee table or something inside. Inhale here, exhale, twist to the right. So same twist that we were doing in lunge. Maybe one hand on a block, one hand on the low back. Maybe you're hovering it. But make sure this front knee is slightly bent, because if you're jamming it open and bearing more weight on that front leg, that's no good. Last breath here. Inhale back to center. Ripple back into that front knee, and then gently step to your standing forward fold. Little bounce, little wiggle. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Okay, inhale, step your right leg back. This time, keep the back knee high, unless you prefer to lower it down. Wrap the right hip forward, draw the left hip back, supercharge that back leg towards straight. And then inhale, come up, high lunge. Okay, so I want you to squeeze the bum on the back leg. Squeeze the top of the thigh. So it's really anchoring here for you. And then bring your hands to prayer. Okay, from here, lean forward on a long line. Keep wrapping that left hip back. As you exhale, twist to the left. Maybe the arms are open. Maybe do the same sort of open twist. Maybe you hook the right elbow onto the outside of the left side. Now, as soon as we twist, I just noticed it. My back leg forgot to work. So supercharge the back leg towards straight. You might be palm to palm. You might be fist and palm. You might be fingertips together. Maybe you spread your wings, pressing elbow into knee, knee into elbow. Whether you're in this sort of deep twist, breath in the chest, rousing in the belly. Keep spiraling the upper left ribs open to the sky. Last breath here. Inhale, unwind. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, downward facing dog. Whew. And then gently release your knees to the floor since we came into it from hands and knees. Let's do the same thing this time. On your inhale, step the left foot forward. No, right foot forward. What did I do last time? We had the left foot forward. What? Okay, well, go the opposite direction from what you did the first time. I had my left foot forward. Oh, we stepped back. That's what we did from standing forward fold. Okay, so come into standing forward fold. Yeah, there we go. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Okay, now step your left leg back. Supercharge the back leg towards straight. Wrap the left hip forward. Draw the right hip back. Drive through the front heel to inhale. Come up for high lunge. Okay, really supercharge that back leg. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the top of the thigh. Bring your hands to prayer. Lean forward on a long line. Inhale here and exhale, twist. So again, you can hover it. You can take a nice open twist here. Maybe you hook the left elbow on the front knee. You could be palm to palm or fist or fingertips together. Woo, maybe you spread your wings. So wherever you need to be. Really concentrate on that back leg though. Spiral the upper right ribs open to the sky. Two more breaths. And then inhale back up. Exhale, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. Whew. Little wiggle, little sway. And then gently release your knees to the floor. Maybe a little couple cat and cows. And then shift your hips on one side and eventually roll down onto your back. All right, hug your knees into your chest. Take a little rock from side to side. Let's end with a nice passive twist. So different from how we started today where it was really active. Think of taking your right arm out to the side. Maybe you shift your hips right a little bit to start with. And then as you exhale, lower your knees to the left. Allow the feet to be heavy, resting to the floor. Maybe you bring a block in between your knees for a little bit more support or underneath the bottom knee. You could do a single leg twist or cross the legs, whatever feels best for you here, so long as you can be at ease, right? So now, allowing these twisting muscles, the obliques in particular, to release rather than to work. And then slowly inhale, return to center, reset your spine and your pelvis. Maybe the hip shift left arm goes out to the side, and then exhale, release the knees to the right. Get as gentle or as deep of a twist as you need. And you could take a totally different variation on this side that you did on the first. Last couple of breaths here. And then inhale, return to center, reset your pelvis, your spine. Draw your knees toward you, take them wide out toward your shoulders or your armpits. You might stay here. Maybe you kick your feet to the sky for happy baby. You could grab the backs of the thighs or somewhere along the legs. the ankles or the feet. You could rock a little bit from side to side, just helping reset the pelvis. And if there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, feel free to go where you need to go. You can always let the video run out or pause it. Otherwise, start to find a pose of rest. You could be flat on your back, legs bent or straight. You might rest on your side or in a seated meditation or in child's pose, wherever you need to be. And then for a couple breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. 2 more. And then let go of any breath control so that you return to your natural breath. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. And let go of any last muscle tension or gripping. And stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.